In the beginning of the show, I was like, wow, this is pretty gripping television. I understood there wasn't a lot going on, but by the end of it, I wanted to blow my fucking brains out.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Patrick, the producer of the podcast, behind the glass.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We, of course, wanted to watch the show on Monday, but we couldn't do that, could we, Nick?
No.
That adjusted our recording schedule and our viewing schedule. We went over to Pat's house last night. Lovely home, Patrick.
Thank you.
Lovely home. Pat had an event at his house this past weekend. Cupcakes were left over. Now,
14, I believe.
no, it wasn't 14, was it?
Yeah, let's not taint it by lying. It was 11.
It was 11. Let's
sorry.
not be hyperbolic because this is a heroic feat. Stupid feat, but a heroic feat.
I feel like what you gained from 14 to 11, not worth it anyways, to be exposed
Right.
later. But anyways,
Yeah,
continue.
You're 1,000% right. But we went over to this lovely home because our plan was to watch, immediately come back to the studio and record, likely until 2:15 in the morning. Nick has a lot of pride. He's a very prideful young man. And Pat, you said rather offhandedly, what to Nick?
Hey, wouldn't it be fun to record Nick eat every single cupcake during the commercial breaks?
I think it was like, hey, you think you could eat all these cupcakes? To which Nick took as a challenge, like somebody spit on his family crest or something, and he was just determined to eat each and every one of them.
I actually just had an epiphany about myself. I think I seek validation through the most juvenile of ways. The low-hanging fruit, if you will, to feel good about myself. But anyways, continue, Dylan.
So Nick ate almost 12 cupcakes, each in 2 bites, and got a little bit of a tummy ache, headache. After the show, we all said, hey, cuz Nick just ate all of those cupcakes, maybe let's wait for tomorrow night to record. So sorry, this is coming to you a little bit later.
My bad. I got a little chocolate wasted. Don't worry, I did not drive home. I took an Uber.
So, enough of all that. Let's get to the show. General thoughts, please.
Well, and I'm also just having another epiphany. I feel like how I felt about this episode weirdly coincided with the number of cupcakes I had consumed. In the beginning of the show, I was like, wow, this is pretty gripping television. I understood there wasn't a lot going on, but by the end of it, I wanted to blow my fucking brains out.
Yeah, and I have that note like pretty much verbatim written down in 4 pages, I think. We were all suicidal at one point.
Gentlemen, we were not alone. On the Baby Birdies were very offended by the offering of ABC's show last night. I agree with you two and the Baby Birdies. This sucked. This was the worst episode ever. Filled too much with long conversations with Luke P, not to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Bachelor Nation, Bachelor producers, never do this again, please.
It is comforting to know that my opinion of the show wasn't only swayed by cupcakes.
I know this will never happen, but I just want it to be shorter. I want it to have so much less. I want it to be an hour long, and I want to go back to my life. It's abusive. I don't want to watch this for 2 hours. And that's it for general thoughts. So let's get into the episode. Last we left off, we were at what looked to be a very haunted house in Newport, and Hannah had just pulled the 2 Lukes aside. Very dramatic stuff. She asks what's going on, and Luke S. steps up first. I don't know if it would be an advantage or a disadvantage to go first here.
Here's my issue with the whole setting of this. Her tactic is like a kindergarten teacher, like uses for conflict resolution between 6-year-olds. Sarah, don't talk to me. Talk to Timmy. Tell him why he hurt your feelings.
She's a little bit more snippy than that, though. She's like, look at him, not the ground.
But I appreciate it. Luke S. showed a real weakness, not being able to look someone in the eye. I was kind of put off by it. And say what you will about Luke P, he just was laser focused into Luke S, just alphaing the shit out of him.
Well, he's also, we don't give Luke P enough credit. I think Dylan and I got in an argument about this off mic. Luke P, I wouldn't call him intelligent. He's cunning. And he's very cunning with his choice of words.
It's wild because the reason why I do not agree with you at all is because what has it gotten him? It's only prolonging the inevitable, and he's looking dumber and dumber and dumber. If you don't achieve something through your cunning, you look like you're just hanging on a longer rope.
Well, I could say from as a manipulation artist, he has confused the hell out of Hannah. I mean, he's obviously a terrible person and lied his ass off, and she's still conflicted with who's wrong or who's right. So, well, I don't know.
I don't want to be insulting, but I think she's a soft target.
You're saying, like, what has he done? Like, what are the fruits of his labor for his quote-unquote cunning? He's still here.
Him and Grant are going to go home at similar times. That is his achievement. He made it around the same time as Grant, who has high blood pressure. He has no fruits of his labor whatsoever.
Dylan?
He's dumb.
Who's Grant?
All right, let's move on. They spar in front of Hannah, which she encourages, and then she eventually gets up and walks away.
That was annoying because she was the one that brought them together. Then what did she expect to happen? They were going to have it out, and she just gets up and doesn't want to hear it?
Yeah.
Childish.
Colton did this with, who were the two ladies who were beefing? Oh, it was the little one that cried often, whose heart was in Havana.
Nicole.
And the one with the thin eyebrows.
Tasha.
No.
No, not Tasha.
No. She was chill. She had fun on the eating date.
She was horrible.
It was annoying.
And she had a
every other
blowhorn.
minute.
She had a blowhorn.
Oh, yeah.
She came out with a blowhorn.
Anyways, so you guys let us know who that was. I thought...
That is going to ruin this podcast tonight. Just a worm.
I thought that Luke... I know Luke asked Lost at the end, but he did have a very good question here. He was like, why do you think that I'm here for the wrong reasons? Because Luke P's just like, you're not here for Hannah. You're not here for the right reasons. He's like, what are those reasons? And Luke P just vomits out bullshit.
He basically said, well, I lied to her. And not in so many words, but that was an okay question. He dug in there.
Yeah.
But Lucas really showed to be a weak man, in my opinion. And he listed his occupation as political consultant. He is getting eaten alive out in D.C.
Right.
That's why he's starting up this tequila business. He's more of a behind-the-scenes kind of guy instead of forward-facing.
Yeah, not thinking on your feet. Yeah, he's a guy like, he's got to choose his words. Spend a little more time putting together an argument, I guess.
Okay, so anyways, Chris Harrison comes in with sweeping dramatic music. No more cockies. We're going straight to the roses. Yes?
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
gather around. Tonight, the cocktail party is over. We're going directly to the rose ceremony.
Yeah, he busted in there like Mark Wahlberg. Daddy's Home. That's a movie.
Very good.
That's what it reminded me of. He just came in there, gentlemen.
Yeah. This sends ripples throughout the group of guys whose collective behavior I think you kind of voiced concerns about.
I thought they were all being a little too chummy. Is that the?
No, I think you were calling them cowards or something. They were very affected by this.
They were getting chummy because of all their cowardice. Is basically what I thought. I don't like how buddy they're all getting. They're all in it for the wrong reasons, and Luke P should tell Hannah.
It is at this point when numerous young men get in front of camera and talk about how they're feeling about this situation. And there were a few, honestly, we're a couple episodes into this show. I don't know who, I couldn't tell you their names.
I agree with you. This has been one of those seasons. Normally by third episode, I got everyone's name down.
Right.
I'm still struggling.
Devin? I didn't know who Devin was
Who the
before
fuck
that
is
rose
he?
ceremony. Jesus. This really snuck up on us once we get to the rose ceremony, I think, or is it before?
It's before.
Lucas pulls Hannah aside.
Happens really, really quick.
Yeah.
They didn't make much out of this. Maybe the editors finally used some thoughts on we're boring the audience to shit out of this Luke-ness thing. So let's get him out of here real quick.
Yeah. And then later they say, hold my beer.
He did leave at least with a shred of dignity,
Yes.
I feel.
I wrote down a graceful exit.
Should we say what he did? He basically warned her.
Yes.
Luke P's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Keep
and,
your eyes open.
See you later. And she didn't seem to be too upset by his departure.
No.
He did correctly use wary, so we could all learn something from him.
I guess we could.
New listeners of this show won't know that the first season of...
The great grammar flub of 2017.
absolutely. The first season of this podcast we incorrectly used the word weary.
In lieu of wary and leery.
Often used to describe Nick Vile, the scumbag.
Yeah. And people may have thought it was a bit because we had done it so many times. How could it not be? Alas, it wasn't the great flub of 2017. Harrison comes into the Great Hall where ghosts. Guys, this place looks really scary. I don't know. It spooked the hell out of me.
Well, it's got that stained glass, a lot of large stained glass.
Yeah, it's never good. But he comes in and dramatically takes a rose away.
I still don't know really what it signified. Did that mean Luke-ness was actually going to stay, or like?
We talked about this at Nottingham last night, and we didn't get any resolution to this question.
Yeah.
Effective then, because it was a discussion point. I think a lot of confusion was out on the interwebs, and well done, actually. We got duped.
I think a Russell Crowe and a beautiful mind probably could have figured it out, but...
if he was off his medication, he might have just been putting pieces together that weren't there.
Hey, you know that guy that they made the movie about, the real guy?
Richard Nash.
Hit a fucking wall and died with his wife in the car.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, a couple years ago, after living like a really good life, he was old. He probably should not have been behind the wheel of a car, but very inspiring story nonetheless.
Yeah. Wow. It comes down to a couple guys.
Oh, you don't want a roll call of who's...
Richard Nash actually invented game theory, which is perfectly applied to this franchise. It is go after what you can. Maybe you can't win the Bachelorette's heart, but you can work and you can play for the Bachelor instead. Like, it's strategy.
Yeah.
And people have to work together, essentially.
Yeah. And also, he was a gladiator.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
All right, Pat, let's get to the rose ceremony. Need a roll call.
Oh, you want a roll call?
Yes, please.
All right, hit the music. Here's who's staying. Puffy Peter, whole pumpkin pie eater. Connor. Dylan, Dustin, Mike, Kevin. Who the fuck is Kevin? Jesus Christ. Devin, you're fucking here? Jesus. Grant. Luke P. Yeah, you know me.
Strong finish. Strong finish. So there's a name missing from that flock.
3, actually.
John Paul Jones. Okay, so now I'm done with Hannah, right? I'm done with Hannah because, forgive me, but if you guys wouldn't mind, I'd like to do a little roll call of my own. These are the people that stayed instead of JPJ. Grant, high blood pressure. Devin, who are you? Kevin, you're a nice guy. But you're a vampire pig. Luke P, who's dangerous. There's Mike, too. So many of these guys are so much worse than JPJ.
Patrick, are you, like... I'm a little upset by this. What we just
What, putting Mike in there? Mike's terrible.
No, roll calling. Just
No. Look,
I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
you know what? Sometimes people get hired because of the hair, and sometimes people get fired because of the hair.
What does that mean?
John Paul Jones, it was his hair that turned her off.
He got fired because of his hair.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah. She's not into, those fancy pantsy boys up in, on the other side of where the other ocean is. She doesn't like that.
Oh, my God.
Like Sunshine in Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans, one of the great sporting movies of all time.
That's like exactly what they all called him, gay, just because he had the long, beautiful locks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Hey, can John Paul Jones going? Can I do one last Led Zeppelin song as a tribute to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
If the sun refused to shine, I would still be loving you. When the mountains crumble to the sea, there will still be you and me.
He picked it up at the end, but yeah. I will say I'm a little concerned the pills and the booze are having an effect on Patrick's voice.
Guys, I should remind the audience that 2 guys actually already had previous roses. That was Jed, the musician, and Tyler, the drunk.
Yeah. Very, very divided living room when we were watching this on whether or not he's the most attractive guy on the show, and if he's even more than that, which is what I think he is. I think he's an aesthetic talent.
Tyler the drunk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Chill.
And it was actually me, Dylan, and Patrick's wife, Cherie,
Yes.
who are all very pro Tyler
Yeah,
Chill.
he's unbelievably
thieves.
beautiful, yeah.
And Dylan's wife, Cece, and Patrick were in the not that attractive camp,
Yeah.
which I directed both these two to Tyler's Instagram. Then
Yeah.
come talk to me.
I'll see if that does it. So Hannah justifies why, or attempts to justify, why she kept Luke P here and sent JPJ home. Asshole. Pat, you have a clip?
The guys might not understand and not get it, but Luke P is still here because my heart wants him to be here. My head doesn't always want him to be here.
Lie number one. Heart. It's your pussy, baby.
Foul.
No.
Vile.
Hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. There are dudes out there that you know are horrible for you. You know they're bad dudes, but you can't stop yourself. It's a compulsion. This is the one dude, basically the only dude that she is seriously super attracted to, super hot for, and that's why he gets away with all the lies and manipulation.
Yeah.
She can't help herself. It's
Could you
sad.
imagine if he was in good graces with her? I mean, Jesus. We'll get to it, but she's horny.
She's so H.
Yeah.
I don't want to be so crass after Patrick was. We're turning into complete filth. But though I judge him, I can't agree with your point enough. She is just all about him. I don't want to get ahead of myself either,
Yeah.
but her entire goal, she's like, just keep it together long enough so I can get you to the fantasy suite. We both know you're not winning.
Oh, you really think that?
I do.
You think that too?
I do, but he's his own worst enemy.
Before we get to Scotland, they give a hell of a toast, right?
To Scotland.
Well, Luke P gives a toast.
Yeah.
And the others laugh out loud because they hate him so much.
And because it
yes,
was
that's more accurate.
and because it was so egregious, he said to the hunt
Yeah.
right in front of Hannah.
Yeah.
Insanity.
All right, let's get to Scotland. We get more history lessons with Hannah, who very bluntly tells us about Mary Queen of Scots' decapitation. And the guys, just in general, are very, very, very pumped. Very pumped.
They're so pumped.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what city they were in?
No. Belfast?
No clue.
Isn't Belfast Ireland?
London.
Yesterday, they're in Scotland. Okay. Yesterday, I heard Hannah say the capital. So as we were watching, I quickly Googled capital of Scotland,
Yeah.
which is, of course, Edinburgh.
Right.
But she actually said the capital of the Highlands, which is Inverness. Never heard of Inverness, but the tourism board is doing a great job.
Doing a bang-up
because now
job.
I do.
And you know how you were able to get in that internet and find that seed of information? It's because you'd only consumed about 2.5 cupcakes at that point. Your brain was still firing on all cylinders, wasn't all gummed up. Anyways, we talked about how pumped the guys are, right? Can I say Mike's smile fills me with anger? Do you guys get that reaction when you see him?
I get that reaction because I think he does it as like a known weapon. Like people love his smile.
Right.
We're like in the minority.
Right.
And he just pulls it out constantly because he has nothing to say and people
Yes.
like are turned on by that.
Yes.
He uses psychological warfare later, which I think someone might have a point about, but I don't want to get ahead of myself or step on anybody's points.
Sound like friggin' Kendrick Lamar over there. Just like, not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't have a nice smile. I'm saying I completely agree with you. I hate it. Fake, fake, fake.
Fake, fake, fake. Fake smile.
Could you imagine seeing this ragtag group of schmucks walking down the street? You're just like a father in Inverness walking down the street, and 12 of these morons are walking at you.
Before we get to them out on the streets of Scotland, we have their abode. They stayed at the. They stayed at the, and I am gonna butcher this, the Achnagarn estate.
People think like Chinese and stuff's hard to understand, and it is. But when you get up there in those weird Gaelic regions, the letters don't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any fucking
Consonants,
sense.
like 3 consonants in a row.
It's a toughie.
Achnagarn.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's not bad. But anyways, that's where they stayed. And I wanted to do a little digging and see what this place was all about. But as you know, Yelp is only domestic.
I did not know that.
I don't know if that's 100% true, but anytime we're in a different country, like especially on our other property below deck when I was trying to do it for some of those places, could only find TripAdvisors.
Yeah.
So I checked TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And this place doing pretty well.
The European Yelp.
The European Yelp, as they call it. 4.5 stars.
Oh, that's great.
This one comes from Dilkby, October 2018.
Sounds chill.
He has 6 contributions. That's evidently what they call your post. He has 6
Company language.
contributions to TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
He writes, I attended a charity lunch last week, and I'm always reluctant to make a bad complaint as I was a hotelier myself, but I feel that I must do so now. The food presented was utterly deplorable. How a chef could allow food of this quality leave the kitchen is beyond me. They left out the 2. I didn't. The only area thoroughly achieved was to serve it stone cold. 4 exclamation points. All food was presented in a synchronized manner by gloved waiters. It was awful, so pretentious. And that was a 1 star out of 5.
Wow.
But the fun thing about TripAdvisor is that the companies are able to leave responses.
Oh.
And I may or may not have brought...
Okay, because I was like, if we're going to be honest, probably when the mics cut off, you were talking about the show, I'd say, like, I don't think that review you brought was good.
Fair.
But the story continues.
I'm going to say it's going to improve, but still not be good after I read this part.
I'm excited.
All right, a response from the guest relations manager at the Aknargarn Castle Hotel. Responded same day. We are truly sorry to hear that your food was cold at the charity lunch. Why on earth did you not tell us at the time? And we could have resolved the situation. It's difficult for us to fix this 7 days after the event. It was a wonderful afternoon for a very worthwhile local charity which raised a huge sum of money. Aknargarn very willingly donated the venue and all but the very basic cost of the charity. It therefore feels very unfair that you have written such a detrimental review, as so many of the guests complimented the team on the excellent food and service. The gloves are worn as a protection for the team from hot plates and not to be pretentious. The synchronized service is simply the professional way to serve large functions.
I'd also mention that that's kind of like a hoity-toity thing. Like when you're at Cut in Beverly Hills and it's synchronized, your plates all get put in front of you at the same time. You want your waiters wearing gloves. I don't want my waiter's thumbs touching my goddamn plate. One time I was at a wedding and it was Moroccan-based, and this guy kept bringing my soup over and he had his fucking thumb in it. So I said, hey, can I get another soup? 10 minutes later, he walks out with a new soup. Same thumb in my soup. I wish he had gloves. This guy needs new problems.
All right, so let's go to Hannah holding court at the bar.
The Hoot Nanny.
I feel like we have not talked about this show in ages. Hannah holds court, and Pat, you had thoughts about her eyebrows and just her eyes like structure at this point.
Well, I've never seen eyebrows that close to eyeballs. It seems like they, like you go to a concert and there's a pole in your fucking eye view, right. Like an obstruction seat.
Yeah.
Her eyebrow's that pole in front of her eye view. It's that low.
The discount ain't worth it, all right? I want to be able to see the show. Otherwise, why am I there?
So she picks Mike, who I've said a couple minutes ago I hate. Not looking forward to this. But alas, he flashes his fake smile, picks her up, and they go off on their one-on-one. The guys see this as an opportune moment to kind of voice some of their concerns with the young man who's gotten through by the skin of his teeth. Jed says something stupid, huh?
And then it is replied to by something just as stupid.
Pat?
She wants you to be organically yourself to the absolute max.
It's not necessarily who can be the most themselves, but really that we can all be ourselves.
It's a tart off. It really is.
Yeah, you got another one. Organically yourself to the absolute max sounds like a vegan energy bar company or something like that. Like intense branding, but with a good heart. He also says,
hey guys, can we go to Mike and Hannah's day date? I have some thoughts.
Absolutely. You want to set it up?
Sure. Okay, so they bounce around. They always do like a montage of all the different places they're going to visit.
Enchanting places.
Oh, yeah, wonderful places. They go shopping. They go to a bookstore.
But do you mean that? Because I thought that they were enchanting places.
Not really. The candy store?
Pat, that's a good candy store.
No. There's certain locations that exist for just severely bored tourists that have nothing to do.
No. This is in Inverness. I thought that place had soul. And there's a strong culture of candy making in the UK. There really is. There really, really is. I felt the spirit of that place, and I felt the spirit of the bookstore. Enchanting, both places. Enchanting.
I'm split with you guys. I did find the sweet shop to be a little bit of a tourist trap. You got gummy worms. You're supposed to be a purveyor of the finest confectionery.
They have big balls called Black Death balls. You don't see those anywhere. What are you talking about? They have niche ingredients and offerings all over the place.
No. These places, they know what they're doing. They're like, hey, there's like a, I don't know, it's a fucking Eiffel Tower. Well, what's one block from the Eiffel Tower after you stared at the Eiffel Tower for 10 minutes and go, well, all right, we bought the bus ticket down here. What else are we gonna fucking
shop?
do? Yeah, you put the candy shop there.
Where's the Eiffel Tower in Inverness?
No, I'm giving it as an example.
It was an example. I felt like that was very clear, actually, Patrick. But I mentioned how I didn't like the sweet shop. Did love the bookstore.
Bookstore is beautiful.
I told you guys how I went to the first library in Boston because I've always loved libraries. Well, guess what? Its beautiful stepbrother is the bookstore.
Absolutely.
Oh man, she said she loves the smell of the books. So do I.
One of my favorite places. You waltz into Bookstar on Laurel and Ventura, old theater, hollowed out with a marquee, full of books. It's beautiful.
I've been to like the three what I thought were the big bookstores in LA.
Yeah.
Can't remember their names right now, but that one.
Sunlight.
Odyssey Bookstore on Chandler and Vineland.
The one downtown.
The Last Bookstore is one.
Yeah.
But I have not heard of this place, and I'm intrigued, and I'm going to visit. I've been to the others.
It's down the street from you in Encino. It's absolutely magnificent. You got to go see it.
I do not live in Encino. I work in Encino.
That ends our segment, local LA haunts. So, Pat, you had thoughts about this that we have not gotten to yet.
All lame places. What's next? Going to a driftwood fucking sculpture shop? I'm telling you, they probably didn't visit it, but it exists.
I believe it, and they should have. That sounds very interesting.
All right, so the final place they go to, penultimate, whiskey tasting. This kind of gets her a little looped up.
Yep.
And sure enough, after they go to this quaint bar, she's visibly drunk. I mean, she's not wasted, but she's drunk.
It was funny. I guess when Hannah gets wasted, she starts culturally appropriating.
What'd she do? Oh my God.
She stopped out there. I think I got a little swig. Whoa. Hannah, pump the brakes.
And then they, as I said, they go into this quaint little bar and they get duped by a British patron, actually, who tricks them into eating haggis, a local fare. In that part of the globe. This was microbrew haggis, though. Like, this is well plated. You've seen some haggis that looks like, they feed to prisoners.
Like the poor people version.
Yeah, it's really, really awful stuff. As she is a little inebriated, her defenses are completely down, and he's charming the pants off her.
Yes.
Shame on you, Hannah.
I couldn't agree more.
Let's get to the night date.
Night date!
Where are they?
At a restaurant, I think.
In some room with a table?
Yes.
A lot of stuff's here. A lot of stuff's here. Pat?
I don't like Mike. Yeah. I think he's just a basic player. I think that
1,000%.
I think that baritone voice helps him out quite a bit. I wish I had a baritone voice.
Yeah.
And not an alto voice. Because you hear me talking, this ain't gonna have anybody's panties dropping anytime soon. I gotta turn a girl on with my intellectuality. Did I say that right?
You did.
So get this. This guy, the entire date, just spews a bunch of dumb shit, but it works on her. But I'm gonna do two versions of me speaking in my alto voice.
Oh.
Saying basically the same thing he says on this date.
Okay.
Seeing how that works. And then I'm gonna do his version and see how much better it is.
Okay.
All right, here it is. This is me to Hannah. Hey, Hannah. I just want to tell you I was in the military. And, hey, I'm ready to fall in love now. And let me know, I got to tell you this. I got 4 queens. I got my mother. I got my sister. I got some cousins. And you'd be my 5th queen. And, I'm down. Okay? She is probably not going to be very excited about that. Now, hear this in a baritone voice. Okay. You know I was in the military, right? One thing you need to know is I got 4 queens. I got a mother. I got a sister and 2 cousins. You down to be my girl and go 100? Now, that closes ass. Right? You see the difference there?
Yeah, I kind
Just
of
what-
like the first one better, just because it was you, and the second one seemed like an insane person floating back and forth between different accents.
I don't know. The second one was so enchanting to me. I swear to God, in my head, I could hear music in the background.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I thought I heard it too.
A baritone voice gets to sell more bullshit than just my regular voice. So, word to the wise of the guys out there trying to get laid.
Word to the wise, what can you do?
I guess not.
All right, so he is dancing around something for a long time. Like he's really nervous about having to say something, which makes me think that the producers have told him that he needs to meet a quota. We've talked about it before. I don't know if...
Hot take here, Dylan.
Doesn't it seem like that, though? Because he seems like he's been told he has to do something that he's nervous about doing.
Oh, well, this could also be the time where he unveils something that's really deep and painful from his past.
Right, but he doesn't do that.
He already did that.
He already did that, so he's got
Right.
nothing left.
But I like Dylan's here. I think he's being prodded. You have to make some commitment to show. It's usually the falling in love, the I can see
Thank
myself
you.
with you.
Thank you.
No, he comes out with I can see myself getting down on one knee.
Right.
Weak.
Yeah, that's what all of that built up to. I can see myself getting married. It was insane.
Well,
And-
Nick, you always say the stages of the love or the relationship commitment thing on this is I'm starting to fall in love. I'm falling in love. And now I am in love.
Yeah.
Luke P added the I think I'm starting to fall in love.
Right.
Right. An innovator.
And now Mike, he's trying to add one, but he sucks, so it doesn't count. I think I can
Yeah.
see myself getting down on one knee.
Yeah, no, he's no Johann Gutenberg or Luke P.
The printing press.
So before he spits,
Johann Gutenberg did the printing press, not Luke P.
thank you.
Thank God. Got that resolved.
We need a meanwhile.
Meanwhile.
So they get a date card, do they not?
Yes, for the group date.
Looks like we need a roll call.
Oh, you want a roll call?
Yes, please.
Roll call. Here's who's going on the group date. Hit the music, Nick, you motherfucker. Grant, Connor, Peter the bubble ass that eats all the bangers in MASH. Garrett, Dylan, Grant, Kevin. Who the fuck is Kevin? And Jen.
Love is a battlefield.
Yes. Did you play that as kind of a way to set up the battle that they go into?
That's the theme of this entire date.
Yeah. Love is a battlefield. Love is a battlefield. The guys gather, and a few druid warriors come out screaming hello.
This is exactly like Braveheart. In fact, 3 of the first things they do were actual scenes in the film Braveheart.
Yeah, the only thing they missed was the rock throw. That's it.
Yeah, they missed that. And they also meant the wife getting raped by English soldiers.
It's weird, though, now that you mention it, they did miss a couple other things. They missed him jamming antlers into a guy's throat.
Dude, no, I saw Dylan do that. It was in the background. They didn't get a good shot of it. It was like when Luke slammed Luke.
Dylan is scary. Dylan is very, very scary. Okay, so they begin throwing axes, and they are really, really bad. This must have gotten you hot and bothered, Nick, because you're good at this kind of stuff, these little games. You love to win at them.
I have a specific one story. I was at this party just hammered in high school. People were trying to throw the axe in the tree all night. I
Yeah.
was not with it, and I just stuck it.
Yeah.
I went crazy like Hannah B did when
Yeah.
she showed all these fellas up.
How cute was that? That was so... I was just like, you go, girl. She's so fun when she's being herself. Again, I say very overbearing, I'm sure, to be a life partner with her, but
And
she
up
is
and
fun.
down, and up and down.
Yes, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
yes, she was like, bow down, and just her elation immediately after was just very cute. I can't agree enough.
They then carry milk and throw each other to the ground. Do we have any more thoughts about this?
They weren't wearing underwear.
Well, that's, yes, when we get to the competition. But before we get to the competition, Pat, I need a meanwhile.
Meanwhile,
Mike and Luke have an insane conversation in which Mike says to Luke, you've questioned wanting to be here before. And Luke says, what are you talking about?
You know what I think happened there?
Yeah.
Luke P knew Mike wasn't there last night, so he had assumed he hadn't heard that. But the word quickly got back to Mike, all the shenanigans, because the other guys can't keep Luke P's name out the mouth.
But also, Luke P had done it before. He had said it the same exact thing, like an episode or two before this. He is fucking crazy. He's an elusive monster. Now, this scene of him reading the book, sitting on a rock like the thinking man, seems a little cooked to me.
Mike loves reading.
Yeah.
They luckily got to go to a bookstore on their date. He picked this up, and I didn't actually realize that at the time. ABC was just beating us over the head with the Loch-ness thing. I didn't even realize till right now that Elusive Monster was about the Loch-ness Monster.
Oh, I had no idea.
I'm assuming that at the moment. But
Really?
Yeah, and I think they're calling him the Luke-ness Monster all episode. Jed actually said it really early on one time.
Huh. I went fucking sailing over my head.
You are one detailed motherfucker.
I'm going to have to check this. Maybe I'm going Richard Nash right now. I could possibly be seeing things that aren't there, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think it was kind of like that goose thing. It kind of came out of nowhere, but it was all episode.
Yeah.
They never explained it.
Let's get to the games. Hey, what are these games called again? Like the Black Circle games or something?
I thought they were called the Kilts Highland Games.
Really?
I believe so.
I believe that. I believe that.
Maybe I was getting it mixed up with the candy. Now, again, the guys are not good at the axe toss, but Tyler Chill steps up and he sticks it.
Southpaw even.
Yeah. He's a lefty.
All I could think when that axe stuck into that wood was, obviously, he's Tyler Chill, baby.
Tyler Champion of the axe throw. All right. Jed pours milk all over himself.
Don't cry
What?
over spilled milk.
Oh. And then they begin throwing each other to the ground. Now, I just want to know why they're not wearing underwear. Why are they not wearing underwear?
Tradition.
Unlike any other. Wait, that's the Masters, not a bunch like 10 dudes' dicks hanging out.
But no, that's not airtight enough an argument. Tradition, I'd be like, no, I'm fucking wearing underwear. There's a bunch of fucking people there, and this is on national television. I'm going to keep my dick not exposed.
I don't think you'd be doing this on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
That's you talking to the producer still.
Yeah. I have a lot of sass.
And you bring up very good points when you're talking to the Bachelor producers.
Oh, yeah, I do. So let's get to the night date.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Jed, everyone's throwing people down. Jed decides to throw Hannah down to the ground.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And this made me think she didn't fight back. And he did his balls and asshole and
Again.
nuts and everything, penis exposed.
Yeah.
She didn't fight him off.
Right.
I think he's going to be the winner. Just based on that. Based on that alone.
I know, it's pretty crazy. Although that was very tame compared to the stuff that comes later. But it does involve Jed again. I mean, there's no doubt that he's a front runner. But let's get to the night date.
Night date!
As we said, she manhandles some of these fellas tonight. Absolutely manhandles them. First up is Jed.
Jed may not like her, but I started to really not like Jed. All right. I was swayed by his guitar, which we also disagreed on. But when I said these guys are getting too chummy and catty about Luke P, he's kind of like, he's always the shitster around there saying he's not going to stand for it, always getting in the mix. I don't like him and his big, stupid forehead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. He's ugly. And she takes him upstairs. Tiny body, big head, all that, and sits him down on that chair. And tough dress to be this horny in. It's a little restrictive. Mm-hmm. She goes for a soft straddle, and it's not going to be happening with this garment of clothing. So she sits on his lap and really kind of goes at him, really kind of pecks into his throat. And who sees them? Who sees them doing this?
Vampire pig.
Little vampire pig. Now, I feel terrible calling him that because
I don't get it.
It looks like a little vampire pig.
Is that a type of pig?
No.
He looks like a vampire and a pig.
Yeah.
I do see pig. I don't see vampire, but I'm glad we cleared it up.
He's got thin white skin. Looks like he's from Transylvania.
Gotcha. Nonetheless, even though I didn't understand before, it did help me remember who he was.
Yeah. And again, I feel terrible calling him that because he is a very, very good dude. He served in the military and he handles this so fucking well. He sees them. He walks back down the stairs. So many guys
Classy.
on this show, pawns like ABC. Not the real crummy ones would have walked up, but at least Kevin made the right choice and did not disturb this because it would have been bad for everybody.
Who's Kevin?
Well, vampire pig. And then they go back downstairs, and he comes down, and I know they're being chummy, but some of these guys are good dudes, and they're actually growing to like one another. They're spending a lot of time, and friendships are building, and I think that's fun. I think it's on display tonight when Kevin's like, God damn, buddy, you had a good time up there, didn't you?
That is kind of fun.
You know?
Yeah, and I do think that at that moment when Kevin saw all that, that's when he knew. Like, then there could have been a narrator. That's when he knew he had no shot.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to Peter whole pumpkin pie. What?
Peter, he eats bangers and mash. I love that one because he adapted to the...
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Okay, so let's get to Peter.
That fat fuck.
That's so funny.
God, packing on the weight.
We see a man here really trying. Really trying. This is a man who's trying to do something that's not a part of who he is. This is a man who's doing something very foreign, trying to be sexy. Now, Nick, you had a clip that you wanted to play?
Well, just the awkwardness that he displayed while trying to get sexy with Hannah on top of that pool table really reminded me of a show I'm quite familiar with. Pat, why don't you hit us with a clip?
Wait. My foot is stuck in the pocket. I can't get it out.
That's not something a girl wants to hear.
Don't start. Ow.
What?
Stupid balls are in the way.
Oh, man. And this, of course, is from the episode, the one with the flashbacks, where we see all the times all the friends almost hooked up. And
my God.
Phoebe was, of course, consoling I just got to wipe a tear real quick. Wow, what a classic show. But Phoebe was consoling Ross because he found out his wife was a lesbian and they got into it. And the awkwardness of the pool table stopped what could have been. Who knows?
Well, it didn't stop it this evening. Peter grabs her up, slams her into the very hot light above the pool table, and calls an audible. Says, let's move to a safer part of the table. She was fine with all of it. Where most would have been like, hey, calm down. This isn't right for you. She said, I'm down. Let's do it again. Take two, baby.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I feel like it would have turned a lot of girls off.
Yeah, like just that misstep, like an awkward moment like that can
Horrible.
really dry a girl up. They sound like
no, we
Pat.
don't have to talk like that. Yeah, we really don't have to talk like that. But yeah, it can kill a room.
Kill a mood, yeah. That's what I meant.
I just want to say for a pilot, he has absolutely no grace. I mean, he's clumsy. I want a softer touch on the wheel of my wings.
I don't think he's landing that plane like Denzel, if you know what I'm saying.
Upside down and then back around and into a river. Oh, that's Sully.
Killing 4 people, hung over on booze.
He saved hundreds of people, all right? Those 4 people would have died anyways. There was a problem with that aircraft. He didn't have to admit that he was drinking, but he did because he wanted to prove a point. That's what Denzel would do in real life.
I got to see that movie.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. It's supposed to be... it's not good? Okay.
Oh, I disagree. John Goodman plays a really fun little role. He's like Denzel's drug dealer. Oh, man, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Hey, you guys know what Man on Fire has on Rotten Tomatoes? Man on Fire.
Probably pretty low. I because of the way you're like proposing it.
Right.
I would have said high otherwise. 63.
Now this is the film where Denzel's son is sick in a hospital.
No, this is when he is...
Oh, that's John Q.
He's like Creasy. He's the bodyguard for Dakota Fanning and, of course, Mark Anthony.
She is probably the finest child actor there has ever been. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that.
Her and Gary Coleman.
Yeah, true. Check. Great time to plug another Bachelor Podcast Instagram page where we have Gary Coleman side by side with old Jonathan.
But alas, the Rotten Tomato score is in the low 30s, I think. It's
Wow.
in the 30s.
Wow.
Criminal.
It's like so innovatively shot.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's interestingly shot.
Okay.
It's a little much for me. So finally we get to Tyler C.
Tyler the drunk. You heard it here first, folks. He's going to be the guy years from now. They'll go, oh, he got arrested for his 4th DUI, or he ran someone over in his car.
Well, you said that last evening. Is there something about his face that's screaming that future to you?
It screams drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a drunk.
I think he might be mistaking chillness for intoxication.
Yeah, I think he's just low energy. I think he's low energy.
I wouldn't even say that, Dylan. He's chill energy, all right? Okay. It's very different than low energy.
Turns out he was never really worried. He takes her back with all the confidence in the world, the confidence of a man who didn't see her jump on top of Jed in an open field in front of a bunch of strangers with no underwear on. He takes her back, and his cock is out.
Genius maneuver.
It's under the kilt, but it's not a porn.
Open air, though.
Open air. All right, let's get to the next day. There is tension within the group. A lot of tension within the group because Luke is going on his one-on-one.
This is like his 3rd one-on-one, isn't it?
He's had a lot of alone time with her, and he's going to have so much more.
At this point in the show, I remember making eye contact with both of you. I think Nick was on his 8th cupcake, and I'm like, boy, is this thing almost over? And we were like, I remember seeing it was like minute 59.
Yeah.
And just defeat in all of our eyes.
Yeah.
And not knowing what was before us, which was going to be an hour of Luke and Hannah.
Hindsight is always 20/20, but I really wish we would have known the last hour was meaningless.
Yeah. It's crazy because I said in my brain, just like what you described, I said finally like 3 or 4 times. I was duped into thinking that we were going to be done with this bullshit. But alas, it lasts forever. Let's break all of it down. Before they get to the one-on-one, Garrett kind of bodies Luke up a little bit, and he kind of has been the entire time. Garrett is very, very stern with Luke. He's assessed him as somebody he does not fucking like, and he steps up to him, as aggressively as anyone on this show.
Garrett, he was one of the guys I just had muddied in Who Are You?
Yeah.
But he's really stepped up, and like you can tell Garrett's just a really solid guy outside of this. A lot of people like him.
Yeah.
He could do without this. It was a fun thing, but he doesn't give a shit. He's going to tell Luke P what's up.
Can I jump on your point with that, Nick? Maybe every season, the 4 girls that we barely hear them speak and they're kept around very long periods, like deep into the series, maybe those are the decent people that we make fun of and we dismiss. But the fact that they aren't giving the cameras anything good means they're decent people and they're kind of maybe just having some fun. But they're not saying inappropriate stuff, being the villain, trying to be on camera. I don't know. I never thought about that
Yeah,
before.
no, it's a good point. I think the people that are a little bit more narcissistic, obviously, give the lens more to chew on.
There's also a line where if you're good looking enough, you're still going to stay around.
Yeah.
Like they'll keep you around for eye candy.
Yep.
Garrett, not above that line.
Yeah.
Anyeka!
Holy cannoli. Garrett's fine. He's charging $65 an hour. He's helping people with their swing, and he's getting $5 off a sleeve of TP5s. His life is fine. Okay.
We don't need to get $5 off TP5s because, of course, we get all our discounted balls from Second Swing.
SecondSwing.com. We cannot thank them enough for being the first official sponsor of the podcast. We've had plenty of wacky ones in the past that were, sorry, spoiler, they weren't real. But this time we do have a real one. It's a great company. It's from your neck of the woods, right?
Yes, Minneapolis, Minnesota based, but anybody can buy from there because it's on the internet.
Absolutely. That's what's so great about it. They don't charge for shipping, and they have the best products on the internet pertaining to golf. It's all, you can buy used stuff, but it's as good as new.
When my cousin Barry comes over, we just go on their website just to look at what they got. All the new stuff coming out. And my cousin Barry's a paraplegic.
Yeah. I have all my arms and legs. I go on that website too, and I do the same thing as your numb cousin. You just peruse the clubs. You just, I would love to have that 3-wood. It's literally it's like a museum. It's so great.
And the fun thing about it's the nature of the business. It's a constantly evolving inventory. All right,
Yeah. You can sign up for alerts. So if they get new wedges in, if they get new hybrids in, new drivers, new balls, new putter covers, anything, you can get a notification quickly. Go to secondswing.com. Use the promo code ABP.
Yeah.
Got it.
We went past our 60 seconds, but I'm going to tell you what, and this isn't in the copy. I want to give a heartfelt shout out to them. Yeah. We've done a lot of controversial stuff in the past, and they have stayed by us through thick and thin. And they've told us, do whatever you want. You guys are geniuses, and there's no way we drop you, no matter what kind of press you get. So go visit them. Support them like they have supported us.
We love you, Second Swing, and you will too.
It was a golf club sound effect.
It's incredible because so many companies did tell us no. But they didn't. All right.
Or started with us and very quickly dropped us.
Benjamin Lowenthal's horse dealership?
One and done.
One and
Almost
done.
everybody.
Done.
Almost everybody now that I think about it. Kind of blame Pat.
Okay, so let's get to the one-on-one with Luke and Hannah. They go to a hilltop and they look out on the horizon, a horizon that will surely see them far, far away from each other in the future. This whole fucking thing is infuriating. It takes forever and goes nowhere. 0 is said.
Now, this would be the point. This is where the arc could be for Luke P. But he's got to do a lot of therapy in this one day if he's going to keep her heart.
Right.
All he needs to do here is just own it, and he only does a little bit of that when they're having a conversation. All he needs to say is, I'm uncomfortable here. I'm freaked out. I'm acting like a jerk. I'm here for you. And enough about the other guys. I'm going to get along with them, and let's just have fun through the rest of this process. And I want your heart.
That's it.
He can't help himself. He's a jerk, and he's his own worst enemy. I know I'm repeating myself.
They get some messy stuff out of the way at the top, but it's really not sinking in for Hannah because there's one core problem that really needs to get taken care of. Pat?
One thing that that I'm looking for and that bothers me, I want a man that people are drawn to. What's inside is appealing. People are not being drawn to you here.
It's really not adding up. But everyone I've ever met, every place, every school I've ever been, anywhere I've ever been in my whole life, everyone loves me.
I don't. It's so okay.
I hate saying it, but it's the truth. And I hate talking about myself, but I don't ever want to tell you things about me.
I know, but don't say things like people love me. That makes you so mad.
By the way, this from a girl who gets on a stage and needs everybody to love her to win a sash.
She's not saying it. Other people are.
Exactly, Nick.
I think what she's stuck on is we've kind of all agreed these guys actually seem pretty decent guys, hence why they're getting so chummy and it's annoying me. Mm-hmm. They're all getting buddy-buddy. I think what she's stuck on are why are these guys pretty cool, but they all don't like you? And I think his defense should have been that they had such an early on connection instead of what he just said and sounding like a complete ass.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%.
That would be the reason why everybody's against you. And
yeah, if you come at that twofold, you say, our early connection really, really put some of the guys off, and I didn't make the situation better. I made it worse.
Owning it.
Come in with that cross that Pat just laid out, and you are in the clear. But he's too stupid.
Fair enough. And one more thing about that clip.
Yeah.
We give a lot of shit to Bachelor production audio on some of these outdoor shots. I will say this was crystal clear.
Oh my God.
Sang like a bird.
I am so glad you brought that up.
With some ocean ambiance in the background to really add to the drama, probably added.
Yeah.
Bravo.
There's a lot of wind, too. There's a lot of wind to contend with.
There's right next to a cliff and an ocean.
I know, but you don't hear it. A lot of times, I've been watching golf vlogs a lot, course vlogs. They go out there with wind socks, whatever.
You know, they say the winds of Scotland are silent.
Do they?
No, I made that up. Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Before we move on, I just want to say that, we want him to say those things, but he's not going to say those things because he is truly someone that people hate.
And yes, and he's a complete jerk, and this is why we get to hate him now, is because he's had every shot. He's had most contestants on this show don't get this many go-rounds, which is why she's completely physically attracted to this guy.
Right.
Let me say this, though. I've kind of come around to this. You guys don't think is it Zed? What the fuck's the musician's name?
Jed.
You don't think he's into her, and I will agree with that. But I'm starting to come around. I don't think Luke P is into her. He's so ready to be argumentative with her.
Yeah.
Just give in. But the fact that he won't do that, I think he's trying to form a character here. And
I think he has the brain of like an anemone or something. Like, I don't think there's that much thought put into it. I think he's just like going. I'm going to say words now.
Just chugging along.
Chugging along.
He's already in his
not
on
that
his
much
path.
thought put into it.
Because honestly, with Luke, he is a good-looking guy, whether you guys think so or not. He's got a lot of confidence, which tells me he probably could get laid without trying hard. I don't think he's really attracted to her. I think in outside of a world where there aren't 25 cameras following them around and he's on TV, I think Hannah would amount to him being essentially a one-night stand at a bar.
Yeah.
That he doesn't even like pay for breakfast.
Right.
And then, says he's going to make friends with her on Facebook and never does.
Yeah. He's probably seen Hannah's all over the place from wherever he's from.
Mm-hmm.
He gave her breakfast. What do you guys call Plan B?
Great joke.
It's Daniel Tosh.
Oh, really?
He used to say, I'd give her Plan B, or as I like to call it, breakfast in bed.
Okay, so she needs a break because he's suffocating her. That or the silent winds of Scotland are getting pulled.
Is this where she goes over and talks to producers?
Yeah, she talks to her Patagonia-clad handlers, the producers of The Bachelor.
Is this where they tell her, no, you need to keep him around because we think this is the only thing we got that's interesting?
Yeah, well, that's what what's underneath the words. But I thought that this was pretty special what we got to see. We got to see the tact of Bachelor production.
The deft hand.
They said it's gonna take time. And that is so soft, but so powerful in pushing her towards the direction that they want her to go in.
To keep Luke P around, you're so right. That's what Bill Dixon does. I'm pretty sure that was the guy's name that we saw. He's big on the Twitter.
Yeah.
He's big on the Twitter.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to confirm because he does not have his picture as his avatar, but almost positive that it's Bill Dixon.
Well, Bill Dixon, shame on you, because what they did want was for America's hearts to be filled fuller and fuller with hatred for this fucking show. But you know what? They got it. So they float around and say nothing more. So let's get to the night date.
Is this when they explore caves to avoid confrontation? Oh, okay. We'll skip over that. Let's skip over that. We don't need that. Night date!
I missed that part. That sounds like it was quite the adventure.
All right, seems like Luke got a tip from the producers to be more honest, because he says that word 7 times in the first minute and a half that he sits down with her. He tells her that he feels like he's been on thin ice, and then asks her if she understands what he's talking about. Luke, this is not an intricate metaphor. That's an idiom. People know what you're talking about when you say, I feel like I'm on thin ice. You don't have to say, do you understand what I mean?
There's a whole children's game, Don't Break the Ice, because of thin ice.
Very frustrating when I was a youngster. Then we get to something that is very, very telling about Hannah. She says she didn't care about what he did to Luke S.
In fact, she kind of liked it.
She had to. She loves seeing them hurt each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, You got to be concerned about that.
I didn't catch that line. I apologize, guys. At this point, I'd watched Nick kill 9 cupcakes. Obviously, our conversation towards the end of the night was I had drank too much.
Yes.
So, I missed that completely.
Well, yes.
I will say, I don't think you had drank too much, but had we recorded, you would have drank too much.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. The writing was on the walls.
And also, I think we have been remiss. We filmed me eating these cupcakes.
Oh, my God.
And you can go see that
in 4 to 7 weeks.
I'm going to try to have this in the episode out. mere days apart. But you can see me down these 11 cupcakes, and not over the course of the whole 45 minutes or so that I did it. It's going to be a very quick cut. I think you'll find it entertaining.
But I don't think that you're giving yourself enough credit. I mean, this was a short film, kind of like kind of like it had Polanski's hand behind it. I mean, there's a lot of really cool
Are you calling
stuff.
me an incestual pedophile?
No. I'm calling me a grossy. But it's really, really fun stuff. Pat plays a character called Stern Person who holds lamp for a long time and doesn't say anything. It's really good stuff. Patreon.com/whatever it is.
Another podcast network. Very confusing.
So, yes, she did say that she didn't care about what he did to Luke, which was telling. And what made me blood red mad is when she tells that to him, Luke kind of leans back and smirks. Because he knows that he got that victory over Luke-ness. It's going to further groove in stupidity into his brain.
She's feeding that evil fire.
Absolutely. She's completely validating that behavior. He did nothing wrong there. That, in fact, was the right move because Luke-ness went home and he's still there. Mm-hmm. And that's not how life works. You can't pick people up and throw them to the ground.
Well, there's a part of the female biology that they want to protect her of their children. And while, we could be indifferent about the violence, she's saying this is a protector. Although those two hands could be around her neck in a bout of drunken rage down the line.
Or like a cashier.
I think the only problem Hannah had with it was that Luke P didn't finish the job and kill Luke-ness.
Yeah, I think she would have collapsed in an orgasm if she saw that. She's not right upstairs.
So what does he do? He throws it on her and he says, "Well, look, you were on the other end of this. You were the contestant before. Give me some advice on how I could, be better on the fucking show."
Yeah.
And then she answers.
Yeah, and it was wise because it presented two things: vulnerability and an opportunity for him to stop talking.
Huge strength of his.
Yeah.
Not talking.
Well, I will say this was a tactic as a single man. One thing that I would do on a dinner date, well, two things actually, ply the date with liquor. And second, keep the questions going. Keep the heat off me, and then keep three things out of it: politics, sex, and religion. And I'll just go, "Oh, so tell me about your ex." And then, of course, 45 minutes later, I'm falling asleep in my fucking martini. But she's let everything out of the bag. So now I can start using that and employing my, my...
You're a snake.
End up employing my...
and then I employ my other tactics to... finish the job, if you know what I mean.
He makes Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia look like a complete amateur.
Yeah.
His emotional puppetry.
You don't have sex. You don't talk about sex when you're at the dinner table?
No, you don't, because you'll sound like a pig. You let her do that.
Huh.
And then you kind of look on with judgment or like, "Really? Are you going there?" And then she's like,
okay.
"Oh, now I got to get him more intrigued about me." So then they'll up the ante.
Oh. That's the D.
That's Hannah climbing on top of all these fellows. We should talk about the Bachelorette.
Oh, I didn't mean the D like the dick. I meant like the D in Dennis's system.
Oh.
I just want to clarify that because that would have been silly, me saying the D like that.
This is it, right? I mean, she's struggling because she wants to get deeper with him, but bottom line, he's not emotionally mature enough to be able to handle this situation or a real relationship.
Absolutely.
What else do we have to talk about?
There's nothing else. This was the point where we all really got suicidal.
Yeah. This one-on-one was 40 minutes of nothing happening. This had to be how you guys felt during that epic Ari and Becca breakup when you guys watched it at home. Just agonizing and slow.
Yeah.
I, of course, did not have the same experience because I was watching it live with a studio audience. Well, not live, on a big thing with a studio audience, and the tension was palpable.
Yeah.
But for you guys, I'm sure it was horrible, and that's how this felt.
Contraire, mon frere. It was, in fact, very enjoyable to watch the Becca and Ari breakup, the way they filmed that. I loved it. And that was I believe that was 9 minutes.
Oh, no, it was way longer than that.
It was way longer than that. This was far less entertaining. It was You're right. It was probably about 40, 45 minutes with commercials. I think it was about 30 minutes without.
You watch on Hulu. I watch on YouTube TV. I
Yeah.
am able to skip the commercials, but they still show up with how long the episode is.
Yeah, and I don't have any commercials at all because I'm premium.
Nice.
That's it. We are leaving this here studio. We will be back next week with more Another Bachelor podcast. If you stop watching the show at this point, I wouldn't fault you, but we're going to be here watching it all for you. iTunes ratings and reviews. If you haven't, please, it would help us out tremendously if you would go there, leave 5 stars, and write a few kind words about us. And also, we have another podcast. There's a wonderful reality television show that is, get this, 60 minutes long on Bravo TV.
40 minutes if you take the commercials out.
What a novel idea.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's called Below Deck. It is just the most hilarious show and the most hilarious podcast. So if you don't watch the show, hop over there and watch it and listen to another Below Deck podcast. And that's pretty much it for me. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
See ya, baby birdies.